all the top-level domains of all the various countries. Okay. Keep going, keep going.
Okay.
We're going to just go through this list really fast. So you see the top-level domains and the name servers that respond to these domains in this root file list. Keep going. We want to go really far to the end.
These letters are actually countries, various.
These are the various country codes. So as you can see, there are already hundreds and hundreds of top-level domains already in existence. There's com, and we'll keep rolling along. There's edu, okay, and keep going.
Fiji.
And so the process of adding a top-level domain technically to this list is just a matter of a copy and paste or a text entry into this master list. Now, it's a very simple thing to do, but there's been a huge bureaucracy created around what it takes to get a domain listed in this root. Now, in 1996, Project NAME.SPACE started on the internet with the very first real-time domain registry, and that served top-level domains. The trouble was, although a lot of people all around the world were very enthusiastic about having something like .art or .nyc or .sucks or .music, was that not everybody could reach the domains because the one company who controls the contents of this file had a monopoly. And in 1997, NAME.SPACE filed an antitrust lawsuit based on MCI versus AT&T to have our domains included into this list, into this root file. Again, it basically costs nothing to add the domain to this file. The cost is on the operator to set up the servers that respond to this. Now, a lot of people...
Let's go back a second.
No, keep going on this.
Okay.
Keep going on this because we want to get to the end of this list.
All right. I was going to ask you, what is MCI versus AT&T?
MCI versus AT&T was an antitrust case where MCI in the 70s was a long-distance phone company provider who did not have access to regional offices in various cities. So they couldn't, if you were with MCI in 1978, you could not place a long-distance call virtually anywhere without having to be switched through AT&T's network. So
Ma Bell, as they call it.
Yeah, Ma Bell at the time. So the MCI versus AT&T, the result of that was that the AT&T phone company monopoly was broken up, and there was then competitive long-distance service into the market.
No one loves so much today.
And what that's done is it's basically dropped the cost of long-distance calls and added more providers. In the case of the domains, now stop right there. In the case of the domains, it would have added additional top-level domains. If you scroll back up a little bit, Paul, I know this is taking a little bit of time. Okay, right there. You can see it says end of legacy root and namespace addendum right here. From that point, all it takes is literally a copy and paste of that data, and now you can keep scrolling.
Okay.
That would activate all of these various top-level domains that you see over on this side here as we scroll up. There are literally hundreds, around 540 some various top-level domains that NAME.SPACE created as early as 1996.
Well, there's a good one.
And
Anarchy.
They're all good.
Amor. Love.
As early as 1996, in order to bring these domains to the rest of the internet. Now, in 2000, Network Solutions, whom we sued for the antitrust and access to the root, was given immunity by the Court of Appeals, and this Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, or ICANN, was set up to be the clearinghouse to bring on new top-level domains to the internet. Now, the trouble is, ICANN basically favored only a small group of corporate interests and insiders who were already players in the market, and they've been basically freezing out other top-level domains from coming in or creating an extremely high barrier to entry. For example, in the year 2000, NAME.SPACE paid a $50,000 application fee to ICANN, and none of our domains were approved. Although we qualified and the application was accepted, etc., we were basically shunned, and the large players were allowed to come in. Now, if we talk about for a minute what that means, is the ICANN is, in a sense, collecting fees for domains. Basically, everyone who registers a domain name pays a 50-cent tax to ICANN, who is a contractor for the Department of Commerce, a nonprofit out of California, who tries to behave as if they're government. They tax every domain 50 cents, and they pay their CEO $1 million a year, and they basically do not give back. There's no public good from ICANN. For example, cable access, public access TV is here because the cable industry and the local franchise fees give back to the community. They pay part of the fees from the franchise, or part of everybody's cable bill, helps to fund, for example, Manhattan Neighborhood Network. That's why we're able to be on the air now and to have these great facilities to bring you these programs. There's no such analog to the internet. There's no such organization that's providing any community give back for small media or independent media or community media the way the cable industry does for cable access and C-SPAN, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm hoping to do with Project NAME.SPACE is to create a new type of interaction with media called social enterprise. And what that does is voluntarily sets up funding.
Like that one.
For
Matrix, Mars.
Voluntarily sets up funding for local media and to set up programs and things that would help to foster the development of community-based media.
Mm-hmm. Well, Paul, this is fascinating. So, well, okay, so you want to have community-based media, you want to have access to these names, and they've been blocking you left and right. What's come of this in all these years? What's going to happen? Oh, there's NYC right there.
There's NYC.
Right.
Well, this year, as of last year actually, for years actually, the powers that be behind ICANN were basically lying in the media saying that it's a bad idea to add top-level domains and that it would actually technically break the internet, which is not true. And now last year, front page of the New York Times, I believe in June, ICANN claims that they spent $10 million to come up with the conclusion that a lot of top-level domains are a good thing and they're taking credit for it. What we're doing moving forward is NAME.SPACE is going to apply with the ICANN process again this year, and we have established a number of top-level domains that we will be seeking the inclusion into the root for. And our structure, when we do this, is one which we hope to create some kind of public good out of the fees that are paid for internet resources.
Now let's talk about .nyc in particular. That's an interesting one to me. What's the story behind .nyc?
Well, .nyc, like many of the other, in my opinion, obvious top-level domains, was created in 1996 as a part of our first set of Project NAME.SPACE's proof-of-concept domains. And among those were, for example, .art, .radio, .talk. So, for example, Paul, you have letum.talk.
That's true.
And .nyc, being a New Yorker, was, for me, an obvious choice and a logical choice to identify sites on the internet.
That's 3 letters.
That are in NYC, New York City. And I was very pleased to hear Speaker Quinn, in her State of the City address, recognize the value of .nyc as a top-level domain and how that could potentially benefit New York City in terms of the revenues that it can create. And the plan for .nyc that NAME.SPACE has created, it has basically 3 very simple rules. First of all, you can only register your name or names that you have rights to. Second is you must live within the 5 boroughs. And third, which we want to extend to all of our top-level domains,